Hey, Joey Starr here for Starr Quality Kitchen. Today I'll be filming an impromptu review of a couple of things I picked up Dollar General of all places. I know that may not sound terribly exciting, but I've come to appreciate Dollar General a lot more during the pandemic, as they literally opened one up just down the hill from here at the start of New York's lockdown. As you can imagine, having a store so close to home that was always scarce of people was very convenient and advantageous for me. And it was during those trying times that I noticed how much Dollar General has stepped up from what I remembered in prior years. It's not a place that I would use for my weekly shopping, but if I need something midweek or in a pinch, they have been a fairly reliable resource. In the past 2 years especially, I've been pleasantly surprised with what they have carried and how competitive the prices can be. So I was in a somewhat urgent need of allergy meds a few days ago and figured that a quick trip down the hill during my lunch break should prove fruitful, and also that I could get something to supplement the leftovers I was having for lunch. And similar to previous trips into Dollar General, I ended up finding new stuff that I wanted to try, and in this case review over the weekend. So I ended up picking up is 2 boxes of frozen dumplings. One is a Korean style steamed dumplings, which happens to be pork and vegetable flavor, and the other also Korean style steamed dumplings, chicken and vegetable flavor. Being that each one only comes with a small handful of small dumplings, I figure let me get both. Also, while I was there, actually before I even spotted those, I happened to come across this limited time blueberry muffin flavored Kit Kat. I looked at that and figured this is either gonna kick ass or it's gonna be really crappy. I don't think there's much room for in between, but you never know, maybe it is in between. But Kit Kat is pretty well known for having exotic flavors that turn out to be successes. Doesn't mean I'll like them, but somebody likes them. Otherwise they won't keep making them, right? So more about each of those as we're going along. So let's get started. All right, so Bibigo, this is actually a pretty good name brand for Korean style food, I should say, because they're actually an American company, but they happen to be very popular with Asian Americans. And my personal favorite foodie, Mike Chen, had reviewed not this specifically, but one of the other Bibigo products, if I'm not mistaken, it was the fried dumplings. And he ended up giving it a 9 out of 10 rating. And let me tell you something, besides that 9 out of 10 is pretty impressive just to begin with, but Mike is an honest reviewer and he's kind of picky, and he should be. The guy has a very refined sense of taste, and the guy's main channel is called Strictly Dumpling. And if the man knows anything, he knows dumplings, and he really liked Bibigo's dumplings. The fact that they came from the same company, there's a pretty good chance that they're going to be good. Again, I just happened to be at Dollar General picking up something else. This was convenient and very close to home. Frozen, A-brand dumplings, less than 2 miles from my house. Yeah, we're gonna try them out. So let's see here. The instructions say, and I quote, it specifically says here, this is not for frying, baking, conventional oven, or other direct heat appliance. Remember, this is a big company. They have very specific instructions to get the best possible experience from their products. So if I'm gonna review them, I owe them the respect to follow their instructions so that it comes out the way they intended to. Then I may be able to form an opinion on whether or not these are enjoyable for me. So let's give it a shot. All right, open it up. So this is the chicken and vegetable. You can see really small dumplings, all right? I mean, they're about as wide as like a silver dollar, and they're thinner than most mini muffins, I'd be honest. They're not very big. So I'm glad I bought both because honestly, this is not gonna fill me at all. And the other neat thing is, it comes with its own dipping sauce. Now, as small as these are, I don't think this dipping sauce is going to be enough, so I'm probably going to make some of my own to try these with as well. So the instructions say that I need to cut a corner of the bag to allow some steam to vent. So apparently these are going to actually come out like steamed dumplings, right? They're going to steam. Apparently if I had my own steamer, preferably not from Cleveland, they actually do have instructions for that. So the only 2 ways to make this, according to them, if you're following their instructions, is to microwave it like we're going to do now, or to steam it. I don't have a steamer, so I'm just going to go ahead and follow their microwave instructions. The whole point of this was a convenient lunch and or snack. So let's give it a shot. Being that my microwave is only 1100 watts, I'm going to give it a full 2 minutes instead of the 1:45 seconds. In the meantime, I will prepare my dipping sauce. First, I need a dish. I'll grab 2. One for theirs, one for mine, right? Let me tell you, the microwave is about 6 to 8 feet that way. I ain't gonna lie, it smells really good. I'm gonna use soy sauce. Quick note, not sponsored, but I happen to like Kikkoman all-purpose soy sauce. Delicious. A little oriental sesame seed oil. Get some of my Mike's hot oil, which you already know all about. I'll put a link to my video reviewing this. Love this stuff. And unfortunately, I don't have any Chinese black vinegar here, otherwise I would be using that as well. So I'm just gonna kind of put something together, a little Mike Guyver style. See what I did there? Mike Guyver. Okay, splash it with sesame oil. Really good amount. Great thing about Mike's hot oil is that very fresh ingredient. I already reviewed this, I know. It's just, I can't say enough about how much I like this, how fragrant and fresh everything is. When you made with real ingredients, you pretty much have to stir it up every time you open it. And that's not a bad thing. Mix that all up, make that nice and purty. Nice little, let's see what she tastes like here. Little, voila. Oh, that is good. Oh yeah. Ooh, it's spicy too. That's the way I like it. Alrighty then, what's missing? I know. I'm having dumplings, chopsticks. My favorite chopsticks. Also my only pair of chopsticks, but they are absolutely my favorite. Alright, let's grab our dumplings. They do say after you've nuked them, you want to let them sit for a minute. It's been longer than a minute, that's okay. Just gonna carefully open this bag so that I don't burn myself. There you go. Nice look. I tell you, the aroma, really good. Really good aroma. Which one's this? Chicken. Let's grab one here. I can feel it, the chopstick. It's tender, but still kind of bouncy, which is good. Looks like so. I like that. I don't know if I'll be able to get this on camera well, but I'm gonna try. Here. I'm looking here. I don't know how well you can see that, but the top of that, you see how it's got the little sprout at the top there? What I like about that is it reminds me a little bit of Chinese soup dumplings, just as far as that little shape goes. I think that's pretty cool. So let's try one. I'm gonna pick one up, try it in their dipping sauce. Get a little, get it in there. Mmm. You know what? That is not too bad at all. Wow. Again, this is a frozen dumpling, all right? Mass produced, so therefore, it's not like, you know, I went to a restaurant and they made it on the spot or made it that day. No, this was pre-made, made to be frozen, made to be in the microwave. I gotta say, this is pretty impressive. See if you can get a good look here. The skin is kind of thin, thick enough that it's holding everything together, but thin enough that you can kind of see, I don't know how well it's gonna show up because the lighting here is kind of ass, but you can kind of see the filling through the skin a little bit. That's always a good sign. That means that they didn't overdo it with the dough. Now again, if you're looking here, you can see they're pretty generous with the filling. It's not like it's all dough. Not the largest dumplings, but for the size that they are, I think the ratio between the filling and the dough is generous. And quite honestly, the sauce ain't bad either. Soy base, tad sweet, but not overpowering. It's being very respectful to the flavors coming from the dumplings. It's pretty good. I originally intended to try the dumpling first without any dipping sauce. I'll do that now, all right? Let's try this one here. Without sauce. Mmm. Wow. I can't believe this came out of a microwave. Wow. Man. First of all, if I was visiting someone's home and they nuked these and then just kind of put them out separately on a plate, serve it nice, and they told me, hey, I spent this morning making these dumplings, these are fresh, I'd probably believe them. Seriously, it doesn't taste like something you'd get frozen or pre-made at all. I mean, it really tastes like a fresh dumpling. I can tell you, there are times where I've had steamed dumplings at a local Chinese restaurant. It tastes as fresh as this. Not an exaggeration. Not sponsored by Bibigo, although I'd love to. That'd be awesome. Seriously, that's pretty damn good. All right, so let's try one with my dipping sauce. Look, I say their dipping sauce is pretty good. All right, let's try that. Okay, get a nice little good amount here. Some red on here. Take a bite. Mmm. Yes. I don't know if you hear me sniffing already, because I made this kind of hot. I probably made this a little hotter than I usually make it, but I've been building up my tolerance so that one day I can hang with Mike. Really good. So good, in fact, that I'm gonna take another big dip. Dipping with the dumpling, with the open dumplings, so that the sauce stuff gets inside with the fillings. Get all that together now. Mmm. All right, I'm gonna throw this out there right now. The only problem I have with that bite that I just had, and that's through no fault of Bibigo or any of the makers of what is, it's a little over salty because I get a little bit carried away with my soy sauce. That's my fault. But despite being a little over salty, that was goddamn delicious. That was really good. Wow. And because I have Mike's patent sauce here, I got a little bit of burn in the back of my throat, which I like having. So you know what? I'm gonna fix my sauce by adding a little more sesame. When you're making stuff with sesame oil, especially cooking, even with the dipping sauces, you actually don't want to use that much. You just want to use like a little splash because sesame oil is pretty powerful stuff. So a little goes a long way. But in this case, just kind of do what that does for me. Yeah, that's definitely better. Perfect. So, truth be told, if you're not into the dipping sauces, you're not missing out on much, because I only say this because the dumpling is so delicious on its own. The one I had by itself, so flavorful. If you have a really good Korean restaurant close to you that serves this, first of all, you should be eating there as often as possible, because Korean dumplings are great. Obviously, this is not going to compare to the actual fresh, but I tell you what, this isn't far off. This is amazing for frozen. I mean, what Mike reviewed was the fried equivalent of this. Based on what I'm having here, I feel very strongly that it probably does deserve the 9 out of 10 rating that he gave it, because honestly, this is like at least a 7 or 8 out of 10 in my book. Quick note, while the pork and vegetable dumplings are in the microwave, my decision to extend the time to 2 minutes because I have an 1100 watt microwave as opposed to a 1200 watt one, it's the right decision. They came out so well. And the other thing too that I thought was impressive was, you may recall, while I was explaining some stuff prior to grabbing them, it was sitting there at least 2 minutes, if not 3. And it kept a lot of that heat. I'm not saying it was like scalding hot. It wasn't scalding hot, of course, but it was more than warm. I'm satisfied with the temperature. That's probably longer than a minute since the microwave informed me that this was done, but not as long as the previous time. And I can tell carrying this over, it's definitely hotter than the previous batch. And I don't know if it shows up on camera or not, but there's a lot of steam coming off of this. Let me see, I get nice and close. Can you see that steam, please? Oh man, I hope you can see the steam. Now, the other thing about these dumplings, I don't know if you can see it in the tray or not, but there's a lot of juice floating around here in between the dumplings. And looking underneath, it does not appear that any of them have been ruptured, but this is really juicy, like much juicier than the other dumplings were. And those were delicious, so I can't wait to sink my teeth into this. Wow. I'm gonna try one without the dipping sauce first. Oh, that's hot. Holy mackerel, that's hot. I just burnt my lip. Wow, wow. Okay, gotta be careful here. Okay, I don't know if this shows up on here. I'm holding this like this. You can probably see there's a bit of juice dripping off of here. There you go. And looking inside, I can actually see the juice inside through the skin, and the filling's just kind of swimming in it a little bit. That is awesome. Look at that, look at that. Look at all that juice. Ha ha ha. Look at all that juice. My gosh, this is a juicy dumpling. And if you can see in here, probably not, but the little cup spot where that dumpling was, it's got a bunch of juice sitting in there. Wow, that's impressive. All right, I'm gonna burn myself, but I'm doing it for you. Get a bit of the skin there. You know, I just had a little nibble with the skin by itself. That's pretty tasty on its own. But here, let's just get the whole thing. Actually, I'm gonna dip it in the juice a bit. Wow. Wow. I burnt my tongue like a mother, but it was worth it. Wow, that was so freaking delicious. First of all, you know how pork, particularly Asian pork, tends to have like just a hint of sweetness to it? Yeah, it's present there. The aroma on this, I mean, you can smell the difference between the pork one and the chicken one. And the chicken one already smelled pretty amazing. This is beyond amazing. It's driving me nuts not taking another bite right now. You know, in fact, I'm literally salivating right now with this so close to me. Let me get another cross section here. So there, check out that filling. This is like something out of a restaurant, I kid you not. They really don't put too much of the scallions in here, I noticed. But based on the taste, you would know it from tasting it. Maybe there's a couple in deep that you just don't see near the surface where I did, because you can certainly taste it, you're not seeing it. Now with the dipping sauce, oops, kind of falling apart on me here. Whoa. I had to put the bowl down right away. Wow. Whoever designed this sauce, I'm gonna venture a guess they had this particular dumpling in mind because it complements it so well. Don't get me wrong, the sauce went very well with the chicken one, but it's like a match made in heaven with this dumpling. I'm telling you. With the previous dumpling, I really liked with their sauce, but liked it even better with my sauce. I'm gonna try this with my sauce, but I can tell you right now, trying the pork one with their sauce tastes even better than the chicken one with my sauce. And let me tell you something, that's really a compliment coming from me because I really like my sauce. Let's try her out here. Grab this guy. Let's see if I can redeem myself here and put a whole bunch in, all right? So not only is the dumpling covered, but because of the little hole that I punctured with the chopstick, which is really easy to do because the skin is so tender, some of the sauce went inside as well. All right, let's give it a shot. Wow. Okay, the good news is the best thing I've tasted so far is their pork and vegetable dumpling with my mix of dipping sauce. Still got it. That's the winning combination. But not to retract from this, their sauce, I tell you, again, pre-packaged, you saw it was in a little plastic thing, made whenever and packaged at the same time as those dumplings. Still really good. Like as far as pre-packaged dipping sauce goes, honestly, this is better than the dipping sauce that usually comes with my steamed dumplings that I get from a restaurant. I am not kidding. And that's not to put down the dipping sauce that I get from those restaurants, but this is superior to that. And it's frozen, for crying out loud. I might as well give it a rating because I was talking about the ratings anyway. Chicken and vegetable, 7 or 7.5 out of 10. Like a high 7.5, maybe 7.75. Really good. But this pork dumpling, bearing in mind that it's frozen, yeah, 9 out of 10. I'm not kidding. It is that good. I mean, I don't know if you noticed, like, I thought my knees were gonna start to buckle. This was so good. So juicy, so flavorful, fragrant, tender. The reason why it's getting a 9 out of 10 as opposed to a 10 out of 10 is because they're this small and there's only 6. So, sorry, Bibigo. You want that 10? Give me some nice fat dumplings. I'm thinking about 2 to 3 times the size of this, and I may have to start my own frozen dumpling cult. Bibigo would be our god, and I would be the Messiah. One last thing before I move on to the dessert portion of this video. Wow. Wow. It's like it gets better with every bite. Final note about Bibigo Korean style frozen steamed dumplings. The next time I'm in Dollar General or any place that sells this particular kind, both flavors, whatever they have in stock, I'm buying it. Besides how tasty they are mad cheap. I mean, they're from Dollar General, for crying out loud. Everything in Dollar General is cheap, you know that. Worth every penny and then some. I'd pay twice as much for the same dumplings, that's how good they are. So next we're gonna try this limited edition blueberry muffin Kit Kat. I would love to tell you that my thought process when picking these items out from Dollar General was that I'm gonna have Korean style dumplings. Let me get a Korean-like variation of the Kit Kat flavors. It just kind of lined up that way. I actually saw these first and say, hey, that's a flavor of Kit Kat I've never tried before. Let me give it a shot. And then I saw the dumplings and I was like, oh, they're Bibigo? Damn right. I want to get that and this and I'm going to review it. And here we are. Now, I know a couple of you are thinking, well, I thought Japan was the country known for all the exotic flavors of Kit Kats, etc., etc., etc. Yes, that is true. However, a little research in, you will find that in the last, about like 4 or 5 years ago, Kit Kat did open a flagship store in Korea in a similar vein to what they have done in Japan. That store features many flavors that you would not necessarily find in the United States unless it's some kind of specialized store. So I'm not sure if this particular flavor is featured in the Korean store or Japan stores even, because hey, I bought this at Dollar General. Obviously, it's a limited edition one marketed for the United States. I don't know if they have them there, but a blueberry muffin is not something I'd expect from Kit Kat. So in that vein, it's kind of, I know I'm stretching a little bit, but in that vein, it's kind of similar to the idea, hey, I'm having dumplings. Let me have a odd flavored Kit Kat. Just a quick note before I get into this. The only other flavors of Kit Kat I've tried in the past, obviously the original I had for most of my life. When I was growing up, pretty much there was regular Kit Kat. I think there was a regular dark chocolate one I would see from time to time. Actually, I did not try that. Pretty sure I was still a teen when they came out with the white chocolate Kit Kat. They've been around for a while. It's been more than like a couple of years since I've been a teenager, but we'll leave it at that. I love regular Kit Kat. And of course the Big Cat is just a big version of the same thing, so it's the same thing. Of course I love those. Never tried the dark chocolate one. Now I happen to be one of those people who loves white chocolate. Like I love the white chocolate Reese's peanut butter cups, but the white Kit Kats, they're good. I'll eat them, especially because I don't see them as often. I'll probably reach for them first only because I don't get as many opportunities, but I still like the original better than the white chocolate. I tried a couple of the duos. One was the mocha and milk chocolate. Delicious. Really liked it a lot. Would definitely recommend. I've also had the mint and dark chocolate duo. Didn't like it as much as the mocha, but I still thought it was really good. If you haven't tried it, I recommend it. If you like mint, then you'll like it. Now, from my understanding, and I don't know if that includes this or not because the article I read was from a couple of years ago, but Kit Kat has over 300 flavors. So there's a lot to be tried out there. So my homework for you is let me know if you would be interested in me having some more videos that includes the Kit Kat. Comments below. Better yet, if you have specific ones you want me to try, or if you have a resource like I can mail away for some, or there's any stores where like, hey, they have like these special Kit Kats that are very hard to find, send me an email. I'll leave that in the description box below, the email address. I tell you what, regardless, whether you want me to review or not, if you know of a specialty store that'll ship them out to me, send it to an email and I'll check them out anyway, just for my own curiosity, because I like Kit Kats and I like trying different stuff, especially exotic flavors. And interested in me reviewing it, you can include that in email as well, or at least put it in the comments. If enough people say, hey, you know, make some videos trying different kinds of Kit Kats, I may try it. And I may include some of my friends so we can get some different points of view of the same candy bars, because that's always fun. So in the meantime, here we are, blueberry muffin. Now, I'm a bit of a candy geek, or I used to be a really bit of a candy geek. I've been keeping this in the refrigerator for the last couple of days. I like it cold. Let's open her up. I don't know if this matters or not, but this whole package, 220 calories. For a commercial candy bar, that's not bad. I can tell you right now, look how far this is from my face. I can smell the blueberry in it from here. It does actually smell like a blueberry muffin. I feel like I just went to a bakery and bought a blueberry muffin. They just made, like, it's 9 a.m. in the morning. They just pulled it out. They sold it to me. If I was holding it here and steam was coming up, this is kind of what it would smell like. Except I wouldn't be able to hold it like this without burning myself. The feeling of it, like the texture, it's not exactly like a normal Kit Kat. It's a little bit softer, I might say. Kind of reminds me of chocolate that I've had from South America, or even in Europe, where the chocolate's just got a little bit of a different texture to it, a little creamier, if you will. Smelling it up close, the blueberry muffin scent, it's almost overwhelming. But from this distance, it's nice. What do they say in the commercial? Give me a break. Okay, whoops. Broke the candy bar, broke my concentration, and broke my coordination. Believe me, it doesn't take much to break my coordination. So before I broke it, I thought this was a normal sized Kit Kat. But looking at the cross sections, it seems kind of small to me, because I could swear that when I break open a Kit Kat normally, the cross section looks larger, but here you go. That's what it looks like. Really nothing special to look at. Basically, you got your outer layer of whatever that is. It may not even be chocolate. My understanding is a lot of the flavored Kit Kats, that outer coating is not necessarily chocolate. It's some kind of candy thing like chocolate, but not necessarily chocolate. So you can kind of see there's two wafers, one at the top, one at the bottom, in the middle, maybe a third. And of course you have the filling that's similar color to this. I don't know if it's a little different or if it's the same as the outer, but let's take a bite. Okay, I guess the first thing that comes to mind is it tastes like what it smells like. And it's not a bad scent, it's not a bad taste, it's really sweet, like really sweet. You know how when you're biting into a blueberry muffin, you have the muffin part and it's kind of sweet, but that little area where the blueberry is and then just a little bit of the surrounding area, it's got that little extra sweetness to it. This whole coating tastes like that extra sweetness, but a bit creamier. When I tell you that it has that same flavor as that little area of blueberry muffin, that's not to say that there isn't a little hint of artificialness to it, if I'm being honest. This melts a little easier than chocolate does too. I mean, I'm barely touching the thing and it's like all over my fingers. And it's not that warm in here. And remember, I did just have this in the fridge, so the coating's not bad though. The middle is very crunchy. The wafers are really crunchy, which is good. Nice to get that crunch in here. The wafer does provide a decent contrast to the sweetness of the filling and the outer coating. Well, I'll tell you what, my first bite I was just like, yeah, it's alright. A couple more bites in, it does get a little bit better, but not by much. That being said, definitely won't replace a regular Kit Kat, or quite honestly, I don't think it'll replace any of the other Kit Kats that I've had. It's good, but it's not great. And I think one of the reasons why it's not great, to me personally, I feel like it's a little too sweet. Like, there's a good flavor there, but this sweetness kind of overwhelms it a little bit. That being said, as you can see, I'm continually eating this, so I mean, obviously I'm not hating it. It is good, but if I'm being honest with you, if this had only been 2 of the sticks, I would have been fine with that. If they reduced the sweetness on this by about maybe a third, it'd be much better candy. It'd be a lot tastier. Yeah, just reduce the sweetness. The other flavors are fine. The ratio between how creamy it tastes and the blueberry flavor seems to be pretty on point. My final thoughts on that is, if you never tried it before, it's worth trying once. I wouldn't necessarily go and get like a multi-pack unless you have a bunch of people that want to try it with you. Honestly, this is good enough that it's worth trying, but not so good that you necessarily need all 4 sticks. It is a nice contrast after having such a good, delicious, savory dumplings. The purpose of a dessert at the end of a savory meal is kind of to provide you with that contrast. Just kind of balance things out. You had a lot of good salty foods. Now here's some good sweet, kind of satisfy that part of your craving. Probably a bite or 2 of one of these to satisfy your sweet tooth because it is really sweet. So in conclusion, if you don't have the highest opinion of Dollar General, go back there. They're different than they were years ago. They've definitely been stepping up on the quality of their foods and their prices. You may be surprised to find there's some decent stuff there. For example, Bibigo. From what I've seen online in my own experience now, if you're gonna have frozen dumplings, you really can't go wrong with a Bibigo. And if you can only have one, pork and vegetable. Yeah, I'm telling you. Most delicious, juiciest frozen dumpling I've ever had, by far. Better than some fresh dumplings I've had. I do not. Kit Kat Blueberry Muffin Limited Edition. Good, not great, worth trying. Buy one of these and share it with someone. I hope you found this informative, or at least entertaining. Thank you so much for watching Starr Quality Kitchen. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and stalk. Laters.